Welcome to Ghoulish Gab, always spooky, always under 7 minutes. Today we're talking about Midwest horror movies that take place in the Midwest.
Yeah.
The Midwest. That's where we are.
It's nice to have things be relatable. Like, you're like, you know what? Not only am I scared, but if I look out my window, it could be happening here.
Yes, so the one that I really want to talk about, so we're in Duluth, Minnesota, if you are watching and you don't know. Hayward, Wisconsin, which is less than an hour from here, in Wisconsin. There was a movie called Blood Hook that was filmed. It was filmed there, and then they used Hayward for the name of the city as well too. But that's 1987. It was distributed by Troma. It wasn't one of their movies, but they distributed it. There's a local fishing contest going on in town, and people keep getting like violently dragged into the lake and killed by this giant fishing hook, which is it's ridiculous. I mean, it's cheap, it's low budget, it's still worth watching if you live around here. And they usually screen it every year in Hayward too. I've never been able to make it down there, but somebody will do a screening of it there. There is a theater there, and they usually do it every year during the Halloween season when I'm freaking busy as hell anyway. But I'd love to make it down there sometime. And of course, the giant fiberglass muskie, which the big fish sculpture that you can walk into, that's featured in the movie. That's real, and that is still in town. Someday I'm going to eat fish sticks inside of the giant fish.
I'll go with you for that, because I love that giant muskie. It's as a child, it seemed so large. Now as an adult, you're like, okay, but it's still kind of fun.
It's still large, but
it's still large, just, a little bigger. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm going to start with The Crazies, which takes place in Iowa. Cornfields everywhere. I feel like this is one of those movies that a lot of people have seen, and then it was very popular for a long time, and everybody just kind of stopped talking about it. But there is something scary about the fact that this seemingly small town that a lot of us grew up in similar-sized towns, and all of a sudden it's just overtaken by your neighbors. These are not people that come in and terrify you. I mean, the government later does. But these are people that you knew, you grew up with, you have been friends with since kindergarten, and all of a sudden they went from saying hi to you on a street corner to ready to shoot you with a shotgun. This is scary-ass shit. And I do think when you talk Midwest, you think small town, and I think that's a very good example of a Midwest horror movie.
Absolutely. Let's Manhunter and also Red Dragon, which is another version of the same one, takes place primarily in St. Louis, so that gets to count. And now I'm going to forget all the characters' names, but this was based on the book Manhunter, which had the first appearance of the character Hannibal Lecter before they wrote Hannibal. So he's not the main focus of this movie, but he's in it. When they did, in Manhunter, anyway, when they did Red Dragon, they made Hannibal more of a focus since he was a popular character, and it was the third one of those movies they had done. But, yeah, I mean, it's a serial killer on the loose. The FBI guys are trying to track him down. The killer's, known as the Red Dragon. You probably know a lot about this one, but so I'm not going to drag on about it. But if you haven't seen the Manhunter, the earlier version of the film, which was made before Silence of the Lambs, it, didn't have anything to do with that. It's a very great 80s vibe to it. It looks really good, and it still holds up. It doesn't have the budget of Red Dragon, but check out Manhunter if you get a chance, and you haven't. Okay, bye.
So, one of my all-time favorite movies is The Crow. Like any good mall goth.
Mm-hmm.
Starring the late, great Brandon Lee. And going from opposite of a very much a small town Midwest, this is Detroit, Michigan is key big city Midwest. And I think that as somebody who grew up in Two Harbors, Minnesota, this made big cities very terrifying. I was convinced that any big city I entered was going to be like The Crow. I watched the movie for the first time when I was 7 years old. So it started off early, but it is cinematically beautiful. The acting is great. I love the storyline. I think that everybody ever should enjoy The Crow, and if you don't, you suck, and I'm sorry. It's not my fault, it's yours.
Detroit's probably realistically more closer to The Crow than it is RoboCop, though. I don't know. I haven't been there for quite a long time, so who am I to say?
I'm just convinced there are people just walking around all drug-addled and crazy and trying to fight you in the middle of an alley. That's what it made me think.
You never know. Halloween, Haddonfield, Illinois, which is not a real place. And then you also had Candyman in Chicago, Illinois. So you have two of your bigger slasher movies, franchises that took place right in Illinois, which I wasn't really thinking of right away when I started researching Midwest films. But it's interesting how, Haddonfield, which that's not real. I'm pretty sure that's not real. It's still,
I think it's supposed to represent your basic Illinois, middle class suburb.
It still feels very Midwest, especially in the first Halloween movie. A lot of the shots of when it's autumn and stuff, and they're going through many of the Halloween movies with those types of shots really do feel Midwestern. And then, of course, Candyman is the big city Midwest in Chicago as well, too, which is very, very different. So there's two larger franchises that took place in the Midwest right there.
I think a lot of the movies being placed in central Midwest is because there's no strong accents any direction. Mm-mm. So from a movie standpoint, you can make it the most relatable because there's no you're not talking to Oli and Lena up north, but you're not going really southern twang. So I think that's what makes it appealing.
That makes sense. Tell us about some of your favorite movies that take place in the Midwest in the comments. Bye. Tell us that stuff. What I said. Tell us those things. Tell us things.
All right, bye.